3, 2, 1. Haven't even started a podcast. She's throwing up gang signs. Welcome, Maddie, to the podcast.
What's up?
Jeez. This is a very Ben Griffin start to this whole podcast.
Ouch.
Yeah, it is a bad thing. No, I'm kidding. I'm just giving you stuff.
Can you twist the knife while it's in my chest? Good Lord.
Yeah, I can totally. I can totally do that. What are you talking about?
What is it? What does Miracle Max say? Rub a little salt in there.
Yo, you are the Brit Squad.
I love that.
It is a classic movie. Did you hear they were trying to remake that?
I almost want to see it. Not
just to know.
Like, I think if they remade it and did it like the same, not try to like remake it, but literally just like copied it.
Oh,
you know, and
like
just
Lion King type of shit.
I don't know. I haven't seen the new one.
It's carbon copy. I think they had a new song in there. I haven't seen it either. I just have to process all the reviews at school.
Okay. Yeah.
So I see a lot of people's reviews before they go out, and it's like, it's a carbon copy. It's nothing special compared to what the movies we grew up on.
Yeah. No, I think if they took it and just kind of copied it to be like, we want to like pay homage to this classic and remake it because we love it so much, not remake it because we want to have a new like amazing thing. Like,
yeah,
if they went into it that way, I think they could make something really good. It wouldn't be the same Princess Bride, but I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
To see like a passion project.
Yeah, you're hopeful. I'm not, because I love like the little things about that movie. I shouldn't say the little things, the big things. Andre the Giant is in that movie. Mm-hmm. I just don't know who you get.
Sweet dreams, dream of large women.
dream of large women. I don't know why.
My favorite.
That whole movie. Clive Hughes is the star of it. What's the main princess name?
He's in Psych too.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Despero.
I just know that he's in the newest season of Stranger Things. He's the mayor.
Oh. No, you've seen Psych, right?
No. I've seen like the first season. I've seen certain episodes. I never got it all the way through because it was lent to me, and the person took it back when they came over to visit. So I was like, okay, damn. I guess I am done with that. But yeah, I never saw it.
It's on Prime, I think, actually.
Oh, maybe I'll watch it there.
Yeah, it's...
I think I watched the first season.
Yeah, he plays an art thief, and it's so good.
Of course he would. Of course he would.
He fits the role really well, and at first you don't realize it's him because he's like squared out and stuff. He's not as like shrimpy. Uh-huh. But like, yeah, he don't.
I'm sorry.
I'm really bad at explaining people.
No, this is you're fine. What I'm thinking of is, do you remember the Mel Brooks movie Men in Tights? Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Never watched it.
Every guy should watch Robin Hood Men in Tights because it is one of the funniest movies. I don't want to say ever because Mel Brooks has some hits, but this movie is based off of the Morgan Freeman was in it. Who's the big actor that was the main cast? They made a big blockbuster Robin Hood movie, and this was like the knockoff, funnier version with like a blind servant, and then Dave Chappelle was like,
oh my gosh,
the African like refugee that came on during the boat because it's during the Crusades.
Oh my god!
Clive Hughes is the star. Do you remember the dad from Good Luck Charlie?
Yes.
He's Little John.
Oh my gosh!
Like it is.
That sounds really funny. Like I like things like that, and I think if they,
it's a musical. It's got a couple songs in it, and it's like, what is going on?
Gallivant.
Oh God, Gallivant! I actually enjoyed. I had fun with that.
That was good. No, I think if they went into Princess Bride with a lighthearted, not trying to like be super serious about it and everything, I feel like they could make a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, maybe.
As like a fan, like not a fan recreation, but like going into it like that rather than as movie makers.
It's weird because we're recording this on January 1st. I don't usually date these, but I'm okay with that. It's the brand new decade, 2020. It feels weird.
Holy shit!
I was reading something. You want to know what's sad? Because I went to bed before New Year's last night because I'm old and I don't like New Year's. But I was in bed and I woke up and I do what's instinctive. Naturally, the first thing I do is I turn and I look at my phone. The first thing that I read on a new decade is, in 10 years, you'll be 31.
Who said this?
It was a meme because it's like, just think about this. Where will you be 10 years from now?
Oh.
Me, I'm going to be 31, 32 really,
Yeah.
because my birthday's here. But I was like, congratulations, you're going to be 30 next.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I wasn't even ready for 20. I wasn't.
I mean, this is our 4th decade.
Oh, that's weird.
90s.
Because we were born late. Yeah, we were born
Mhm.
in the late part of the 90s.
So the 90s, the 2000s, the 10s, and now we're in the 20s. 4 decades. Not even 22. Oh. This is why I'm single. Because people are like, oh yeah, she's cute, but she does some weird shit.
She makes a lot of noise.
She makes a lot of noise. She drinks caffeine like
Oh, God.
a
That's
psycho.
Yeah, you are a psycho when it comes to caffeine.
Okay, this is my 2nd coffee of the day.
People, remember, we're on a podcast. There is a cup of Starbucks coffee by my knee. I would say that's a good, 8 inches tall? Maybe 9.
It's a venti cinnamon dolce latte with an extra shot of espresso. Therefore, there's 3 shots in there because apparently Starbucks and most coffee shops think that between a medium and a large drink, you can use the same amount of espresso and just add more milk. That works. No, you're charging me for more milk. No, you suck. You're terrible. I'm getting a larger size because I want more espresso.
Did I ever tell you the story? I went on a date, and I was
You
like,
don't tell me anything about your dates.
yeah, because they're usually horrible.
Those are the ones I want to hear. I told you
Oh,
my
Jesus.
shitty dates.
Yeah, but can I just talk about my date, please? Jesus, child, just settle down. Yeah, Jesus, calm
Listening.
it. Yeah. I went on this date. I just asked her out on coffee because I was like, that's easy enough. I lived right next to the coffee. Like, I knew she liked coffee. Oh, you good?
Yes.
Little mic trouble. That's fine.
I'm good.
I just knew she liked coffee, so I was like, you want coffee? Because whatever. That was the go-to at that point. But I don't drink coffee, ever. I told you I had my first cup of coffee in like maybe a year and a half
Coffee?
the other day.
Coffee?
And it was like a coffee bar. You just got a cup of coffee and you did it your own way.
Ooh.
So I got a cup.
I like this place.
I got my coffee. I went over and I was like, 2 cream, 2 sugar, not realizing the handle was loose on the top of this cream, and I put my 2 sugars in, or it was milk. I'm sorry, it was milk, and I accidentally pumped half a cup of milk in, and it starts to overflow, and the trash just so happens it's like the McDonald's hole of destiny, like right next door. I just start like tipping it.
Hole of Destiny.
Yeah, whatever goes in there is on its own journey now.
I love
You
that
don't know where
name.
it's going. But I just kind of like tip it over. And I'm like, it's like dumping this gross coffee down the drain. And I'm like, she's like, how's your coffee? Because she doesn't see that I've done this. So
Oh,
I'm like
no.
sipping coffee and dumping it, sip and then dump. And it's putrid. It is horrific.
Because there
coffee.
is too much
There's
milk.
too
or-
much of everything in there. There's not enough coffee. There's nothing in there.
I mean, I've literally been trained since like a very young age the amount of cream that I like, but that's because my mom does the same amount pretty much. So I just kind of always copied her. So that's my go-to now. And so I go by the color.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Okay, can see
depending.
that. Yeah.
For the most part, it's by the color, but I'm also always taking into account how thick the coffee is or like how strongly brewed it is. Because if it's a really strong brew, I can put the same amount of milk in, but it'll be a darker color and I'll probably add a little more milk. Yeah, I've got it too figured out.
Let's move on
I was
because I
gonna
don't want
say-
to talk about caffeine with you. It's like talking about how water's wet.
For the listeners,
For the
shut up. I drink about 3 cups a day minimum.
Yeah, she's not very good.
Ah.
We go back a ways. How long have I actually known you? I'm trying to think. Almost 10 years. Freshman year of high school, probably.
That ain't 10 years, sweetie.
It's almost 8. Almost 10 years. Almost.
Okay, so, like-
Focusly on the almost.
Freshman year, right?
Yeah.
So,
And we're seniors
Freshman?
in college.
well, going
4
into
plus
sophomore
4.
year was
4 plus 4.
okay. Fine. Sorry, I like to count it out.
I know, you're an actuary. We get it.
I'm not, and I will never be. Like, I realized I'm too dumb for that.
Well, those questions got shot down.
I really wanted to, and then I started actually doing the classwork for it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not smart for this.
Well, what are you thinking about doing now?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Okay, that's fine.
I've reached the point where I dropped one of my majors, and I'm all but one class away from having a computer science minor. So I'm doing a math major with a computer science minor. I don't even like computer science, but that's my internship for the summer too. But I was like, well, the money is good and it's local and I got it right away. Like, I'll do it and that'll either confirm, like, it'll confirm what I should be doing. Like,
Yeah.
if I can make it through that
Mm-hmm.
and I do enjoy it, maybe I look into that a little more. Or I know for a fact this ain't for me. Like, it'll work either way. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'm really more focused on the art aspect of it now because that's my other minor, and I've gone, I think, a little over a year without any art classes. I forget how much that takes a toll on me, like just having that like mental stimulation to be creative and to be creating things and whatever else. Like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll try to be like, okay, I'm going to work on this old project of mine that I never finished, and I work on it for 20 minutes, and then I realize I have 800 other things I need to get done. So it's like, that'll wait. But that thing is what keeps my mind from, like, spazzing out. You know, like, you just need that one thing
I totally
to just
understand.
really, like, calm you down and, like, center you. So that's, I realized that's my thing, especially being in those classes, because they kind of push me and they give me a deadline, and I'm definitely motivated by, like, you have a day to work on this and you're not even started. So then I'll really get it done. But if I have, like, time, I am queen of procrastination.
Join the island. It's a party.
Join the island.
Yep.
It's a party. We're getting around to the decorations. We haven't figured them out yet.
No, I could see that. It's good that you at least figured out what you like, because most people don't ever figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of my very good friends are still kind of like, I don't know if I'm doing this right or if I'm just doing like a business major. The majority of them are just doing it because it's like going through Play-Doh. It's like it can kind of form and become anything.
Yeah, it's
really
like a coverall.
Yeah. Which isn't bad per se, but you want to find something you really love and do that for a while.
Well, I've realized, like, most people, like, that I talk to, especially when I'm talking about, you know, like, yeah, I'm failing classes or whatever else. Like, I got a D in my probability class. It's for my major. Like, I need this class. But at the same time, I'm like, that's fine. I'll retake it later. Life goes on. I'm not, like, that's not the end of the world to me. But, like, the end of the world to me is more not getting into the art classes that I want to take. So I know that that's more of a priority for me. But I know I can't bank on having a future, like, career in that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my friends continues to say, I think I could see you working with kids or being a teacher. I'm like, no. Just
Isn't that funny how people are like, you know, I could see you doing this. And you're like,
never in a million years.
Never going to try that.
Well, I mean, I have like I have 5 younger siblings. That's a lot of kids. So like I'm used to all of that shit that they try to pull and whatever else. And I know I have like a natural mom instinct, and I think that's what makes people think, "Oh, you'd be a good teacher."
Yeah.
But that's different. Like I hate teaching so much.
No, you're terrible.
I am. I'm like a little bit insulted, but really not, because
I just, as a friend.
oh, I fully know I am such a terrible teacher at anything.
Story time real quick, because people are going to be like, why is he... I tried to learn dance moves from her once. You invited me to bring a friend to dance, and I was just kind of like, well, I've been invited, you know, like I might as well go, because it was going to be funny. Like I had no inclination to dance. I just thought it'd be a funny story to tell later. Yeah. And 'twas not. I ended up hurting myself and pulling something. But she tried to teach me all these very fancy dance moves, and she just kind of went and did it.
They're not fancy. A soda shot
bullshit.
Is basic.
Basic, yes. And then you leap through the air and you're like, do this, and then go into this, and then do the splits. I'm like, I have bits there. Don't tell me just do this. Like,
so did my teacher. He's still capable of doing that. What's your point?
What's my point? My point is he's a dance instructor. He better goddamn be able to do it.
Well, your excuse of, like...
I'm just asking you to show me bit for bit how it works. Not, it's basic, just boom, drop your ass on the ground and start flapping it like you're trying to shake out a carpet. I don't want any of this. Like, you know, I'm not looking for dance lessons per se, but I do want to be like, now the key is when you go down with balance. Otherwise, you're going to tip one way or the other, and you don't want that because all your man bits are going to get crushed on a certain side, not the other. You might as well go down even, you know, like even cooking. But you didn't teach me that at all. You just walked up and you're like, watch this. Boom, boom, ass to the ground. And then you're like,
to the ground? When was that? What?
Like every 5 minutes. Christ, all of you were like, Jesus. And then you're like,
you make it sound like we're strippers.
A little bit. The weird thing that freaked me out was the socks. Because what they do is, because you twirl so much in dance and you're sliding across that floor, all of you guys wear these goofy socks, especially the younger girls. They wore those like knee-high socks, but only on one foot,
well,
like the main twirl sock. So all of them are running around looking like half like gay Nazis. They've got these high-ass boots on, and they're running around the floor like, do what I'm doing, and then they high march like Hitler salute. You know what I'm talking about? They were doing like that march. They're doing a march around the room. They look like the old black and white films of like Nazi book burnings. And this isn't just because I have a sick sense of humor and I like to watch that and make me laugh. The Jew in me has a little irony, but all these little kids are like running around in like these high polka dot socks, and they're like, watch me twirl, watch me high kick, and it all looks like Nazi propaganda in your high socks. And you're all dressed up like minions in like denim blue jeans. Okay. So it looks like the March of the Rednecks.
Okay, might I add, it was Halloween week.
I love that no one knows exactly what I'm talking about either. They're just like, Ben's on a fucking rant. And I'm just, yeah, I am. I've got some shit on my chest. Get your own goddamn show.
Okay, it was Bring a Friend Day. It was also Halloween week. We all decided to dress up as the minions, and we made our
not a night for Bring a Friend, because now you all look like you're fucking inbreds. You're running around a bald man yelling, "Go Gru, go Gru." I don't know who Gru is.
Have you not seen Despicable Me?
I didn't then.
Did you live under a rock?
Yes, I lived in Wisconsin.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair.
I love Wisconsin. It was so nice.
I don't know if I like it or not. Oh. Jury's still out. I've been in school there for
You're going
years.
to school in my hometown, so I understand. I understand.
That pizza place, though. I haven't been back since we all went, actually. Or no.
Steve's?
Yeah.
Yeah, the place is
actually,
awesome.
I went one other time, but let's go. Road trip.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay.
For pizza, I'm staying a while. We'll pick a pizza up. All
right, cool.
Yeah, I'm that's an example of mid podcasting. I changed my mind. That's the education part of this podcast is I change my mind usually on these.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta do something. No, that means you can keep talking.
What?
My screen just froze.
That's no bueno.
No bueno.
I do slip into Spanish sometimes.
Bilingual podcasting.
What? Okay, but yes, Bring a Friend Day was fun. I learn by watching and copying or listening and copying.
That's
whatever
usually how I do it, but it also comes with you start on the left foot. You didn't even give me that shit. You didn't give me that. It was like, well, what foot? When I learned how to waltz, because I had to do that shit, remember, I had to learn how to waltz, and they're like, you start on your leading foot. That was all I needed. Like, okay, then I can copy. But you were just like full body leaping, propelled by hip thrusts into air, and then just floated there for about a minute. And I didn't understand one thing that was going on.
Okay, you're making it sound like we're strippers again. We're not.
How
we're
are
doing
you?
like
I know strippers. That was not stripping. That was scarier than stripping.
Are you scared of strippers?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Have you ever met a stripper?
No, but I want to take a pole dancing class.
I've taken a pole dancing class.
Did you really?
Not the pole dancing you're thinking of, though. You took two little rain stick poles and like put them together. You put them on the ground. You jump on the left, jump on the right, like you're a fucking leprechaun, and then like pick them up and start clanging them about like you're some kid.
So like a drum circle hippie thing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Right,
Yeah,
cool.
That sounds about right. I'm not a good dancer, and that did not help. I know that's not a profound statement, but it's a safe one. Safe statement.
I need a safe space.
It ain't here.
Clearly.
What? Yeah, it's not here.
Just ripping me to shreds.
I haven't said anything Ooh.
You directly looked me in the eyes and said, "You're a shit teacher."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's me being a friend because I care.
You can't just say that to everything you say that's mean.
Watch me.
Kiss my ass.
No, like that's a reasonable thing to say. Like,
it is.
You're not a good teacher. You're
I'm
better at
not.
other things. You are better at other things.
Yeah, so
I've seen you do good at other things. Teaching is not one of them, but you're very good at other things. The same reason I'm not a good teacher. I was gonna be a teacher, and I was like, I shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm a shit teacher too.
Yeah, no, I've had friends who are like, yeah, you could be like an art teacher for like, little kids. And I was like, that sounds like a bad idea. I think I'd lose my mind. I'd be like, kids, you are way too messy. Like, keep it organized. And
I feel like you'd be like, how do I get glitter here?
whole glitter would be everywhere. And that would be on purpose.
You make us sound like strippers. Don't need to try.
I just realized that made, yeah, okay. But like, glitter is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, from Latin 3, I got the nickname Glitter Queen, and he still calls me Glitter Queen.
That sentence. I was in Latin 3 and I got called Glitter Queen, and that he still calls me that.
Okay, in my defense, there was 6 of us.
I kind of remember this
I
because I was in Latin 1.
I was not.
I hated it. I loved the teacher.
Like, we
I
went
hated
from a
it.
class of like 18 to a class of 6.
Uh-huh.
Like, there's some people who weren't testing as high. Like, everybody was consistently like getting, a C or D or failing on their stuff.
Yep.
And they decided, yeah, we're gonna like shift you to a different class. Somehow I managed to test to like stay in the class and have a high enough grade, and I was like, I don't know what's going on though. Like, languages, yes, they'll come easy to me, but I don't know what's going on. I can bullshit my way through that like no other.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for my Spanish test. The lady's like, I don't think I should give you this test because I told her like, oh yeah, I've only had 1 year of Spanish, and she's like, maybe you'll just stick to the 101. And I was like, no, I can test out. And she's like, you've taken one class, like you're not going to be able to test out of this. And I'm like, yes, I can. I took Latin for 4 years. I have multiple friends and other people that I have known that are fluent in Spanish, and I randomly slip into Spanish. Like,
When you go to Taco Bell, that's not slipping.
no, like I have friends that I work with who speak Spanish, and I've accidentally spoke Spanish to them, not realizing I'm speaking Spanish.
Proceed.
Yeah. It's upsetting. So that's happened. And I was like, no, I know I can test out. Like, I'm not confident in the Spanish that I'll speak sometimes, but I'm right 99% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I can do it, but I get self-conscious, so I don't. But that's why I was like, yeah, I can test out. And she's like, I don't know. So I take the test, and she grades it, and she's like, well, you managed to test out of 101. And I was like, I was fighting back the urge to be like, no shit, ma'am. Like, she's this older lady. She's probably like 55 or something. And I just wanted to be like, yeah, I told you. Like, I'm not trying to come in and take this test and embarrass myself and be like, I know what I'm doing, and then completely fail it. Like, I'm not that kind of person who just wants to subject themselves to like constant
embarrassment.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's me though.
Yeah, I'm not. I am the person who like looks up what, like, if I'm going to a store to pick something up and I'm not 100% sure if they have it, I will look it up, look online, whatever else, figure out what aisle it should be in.
That's a little obsessive.
Well, because a lot of stores, like Target, you can look up if they have stuff. It'll say like in stock in aisle W25. So you know where about it should be.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I just thought they brought you in there like a labyrinth and you just kind of wandered till you found stuff. And that's like half the fun for me now is I just like end up in lawn furniture, and I end up just like spread eagle on some lawn chair for half an hour going through TikTok without regard. Well, listen, it's a very long time in Target usually for me with my family.
I know. Me, you, and Bella went to Target, and that was
awful.
I was going to say that was fun, but okay.
I hated that moment. It was, God damn it. Well, I still got to take a shower. And
Screw you. Oh my gosh, but no. Like I know exactly where things are going to be, especially if it's my Target. Like, I know where around it'll be, but I like to know. Being a Best Buy employee, I have an app on my phone that tells you exactly what shelf it's going to be on.
Why do you think they were like, people need this?
Well,
like, I'm not like trying to sound like I'm complaining, but it's also like, I wonder who was the guy or gal that was like, we should give this to them. It just makes our life better.
Like, that's the employee app, so.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit more it makes a little more sense. Like, yeah, we use it to do our jobs, but also like if I were to go into any store, I can look up, hey, it's going to be, on the left side of the store, back this way, on like the second shelf system. Mm-hmm. And I'll know where it's going to be, so I don't have to wander around or whatever else. Because I hate not knowing, and I want to just in, out, done, know where I'm looking, whatever. So I always look, which I want to be sure of everything. Like, no uniform days at school were...
Oh, they're the worst.
I got so much anxiety from that.
It was so strange because I'm going to come at it as a counterpoint because I went most of my years at school. I didn't have a uniform. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Bad idea to do this after lunch, but that's the way it is. I did 9 years of without uniform and then 4 years with. And it was like, I actually enjoyed uniforms. It was very easy.
Oh, yeah.
It's so quick. And then the days without uniforms, you're like planning out your outfit the night before, and you're like, I got this. But then you get in the car and you're like, what if no one else got this?
That
You know,
literally
what
was-
if everyone else isn't in uniform?
I hate sticking out. Like, I hate sticking out for the wrong reasons. I like attention, clearly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you do.
I've learned at this point, like, I'm going to just admit it straight up and be like, I want attention. Give me attention, please. But, like, okay, if I were, like, in a relationship with someone or whatever else and we were hanging out and we were just watching a movie or whatever else, I think I've gotten to a point where I would probably just look at him and be like, I want attention. Please give me your attention. Like, please show me some form of affection. Like, just attention on me. Just please.
I bury my feelings. I bury them deep. I don't let anything. Like, no, I'm kidding, of course.
Like, it's either that or you're just like, I want affection, but I don't want to say anything, and I'll just sit here and hope that they at some point want to give affection, and like nah, I'm just gonna say it. If you don't like me, clearly you don't know me well enough, because that's the kind of person I am. I'm just kind of psycho.
Can we take a sidestep real quick, because it's on my
Oh,
mind,
Lord.
and I wanted
Yes.
to ask this question. Public PDA. Public PDA, that's redundant. PDA.
Okay, well, I'd say there's like a line.
You're not taking part in the public like, display.
Yeah,
You're
like
just,
someone else is doing it.
Yeah.
And if
because I don't want you being like, well, if it's for me, I'll take it.
no. Like, there's definitely a line, and like, if I think it's more of like the
I'm glad you're taking your time with this. This makes me so happy.
Why?
It's just we're dealing with real shit here. Because many people who listen to the show know I love like just people. It's a big thing for me. Is I just love people, and I like going out and going and seeing all the unique types of people. But the thing is, Christmas is a special time of year because I live by the mall. And I go to the mall quite often with my brother or my sister or whatnot, because it's just a thing we get a chance to do around here. So we take advantage of it. And we've got a couple of malls around me. And Christmas is very giving because people who don't go to the mall have to go to the mall during the Christmas season. And you get folks out and about that you never would see otherwise, and many of which have some PDA to share. And it is delightful because I love awkward humor.
Oh
I
gosh,
love that
yeah,
stuff.
no, like, so I went out last night and I basically was dragged out. It was like 11:30 and I got picked up. Like, of all, I was like,
forced kidnapping.
it wasn't. I was like, I could be home and like fall asleep at 11:45 and just miss New Year's or something like stupid like that, or I was ready to go to sleep at like 8. And I had friends like, hey, come over, come hang out and stuff. And I was like, I just don't want to. And then it hit like 11-ish. And I was like, maybe, I don't know. And my friend texted me and was like, hey, like, come on, please. Like, I've got some friends here. Like, just come hang out with us. I was like, I don't know. Get another snap. Drinks are on me. All right, fine.
Weak-minded. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I was like, I don't know. I was like, like, that was the one tipping point. I was considering it, but like going out and being social, and I'm not the type of person to want to go out to a bar, especially like a very popular one. Like, it was something else. It's the kind of chaos I am not here for. I don't like it. If I'm gonna go drink with people, I either want to do it at a friend's house or somewhere relaxed and like whatever. I don't like the big parties. I don't like a crazy bar. Like that's not
I feel like you're
my
giving
scene.
me a Visco white girl education right now, because we've talked about coffee, we've talked about going out and drinking, we've
Okay,
tried to talk about PDA, but you turned that ship around.
I'm getting to that. I actually have a story about that.
I love giving you shit.
You know what?
Let me just wrap myself up tighter in my comforter that I'm wearing in a frigid basement.
It's a fuzzy blanket. That is not a comforter whatsoever, my dear.
I'm gonna bury my emotions very deep
You
within
do
this
that.
comforter.
You do that. So,
I can't just call it a blanket. I'm too white for that. It's something.
blankie?
Blanky, baby blanky.
Yeah,
Oh God,
oh,
that's
okay.
not, finish your damn story, because I got places I want to go with this.
Okay, I'm working on it. I need my coffee.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so we're standing around. You know, I'm singing along to every freaking song.
As you do.
Honestly, pretty much.
Yep.
And I look over, and there's a guy with his back against the wall. And there's a girl basically like backed up on him.
Oof.
And another girl facing that girl. The girls are making out. The guy is like grabbing the ass of the far girl. And I'm just over here like, what is going on? Like, it is.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I just want to know if it ends the way I think it's going, because I'm emotionally invested, because I caught this and I'm a little bit scarred, and I just want to know if they got what they wanted from it.
Oh, they're getting what they wanted from it.
Yeah, and like my friend said, he's like, honestly, if they could block us all out, they'd be doing it right here. And I was like, okay, well, blocking that out of my mind. Like,
Do you remember in Monsters Inc. when they got the 2319 and somebody just comes and throws the shower curtain up?
yeah.
If that was a real thing. We got a 2319.
Yikes.
But it doesn't cancel any noise.
Oh, no. That's got to be noise canceling, please.
It better be. 2319. That means something totally different here.
2010. Someone come up with it. Please, we're in a new decade.
Yeah, the
Y'all can
2020.
come up with it.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Roaring 20s over here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You calling it that now? Or even stealing things
Sorry.
from the past. Go ahead.
But yeah, so PDA, definitely not a fan of that. But like, if I'm watching drunk freaks doing that shit, like, I'm gonna laugh at it because it's so beyond anything I could ever fathom doing, that it's just like, where did you get this? Like, this is bold.
You know what I do? Because you know I don't drink, but I
Yeah.
do go to the bar once in a while, because
Mhm.
I'm usually the sober cab, and I'll see it. And what I do is I go into my David Attenborough.
Okay, we need to go out sometime because I really want to hear this. Like,
And I don't just like PDA. I just like PD, public displays.
oh
like,
gosh,
I saw a
it's-
dude.
It's great.
I saw a dude. He was. I can't even remember where I was, but he was rubbing his back up against a wall to itch a scratch on his back.
Bear.
Like a bear. And I was
My
like,
dad does that,
Baloo.
and it's
like,
the funniest thing. Like, you can picture it, can't you?
I can.
He is just going at it on the corner of the. And
I
you're just like, you good? You
Bill Burr has a joke about seeing a person doing that at an airport,
Oh gosh.
and that he also saw a woman, again, it's such a good joke, eating McMuffins, like plural, and just throwing them down and then wiping her face with the bag. And his concern was the back scratch boy and McMuffin girl were going to mate and have kids, and that we need
Those
a
are
plague
some
to burn them out.
terrifying children.
Oh,
Those would be
yeah.
terrifying.
They'd
I'm
be
scared.
actual bears.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I love those displays.
But a bag isn't even like a proper napkin. Like, there's no absorbency, so it's not going to do much other than
no, it just
smear
smears. It smears it
Like
all around.
I like that. That's my. I'm like, but it's not doing anything.
Quit bringing
so
science into that person's life. They don't want it,
fuck
obviously.
science. No. But yeah, so public, like PDA in that sense, like if it's calm, like go ahead, kiss your person or something. I don't care necessarily, unless if you're making out, find somewhere else.
Yeah, it's kind of like the smooth jazz idea. Smooth jazz implies that there's rough jazz. And do you ever want to see rough jazz?
Hell no.
Exactly.
But like, okay, so if it's like if my boyfriend were to buy me coffee and whatever else, because I don't know, so he buys me coffee completely out of the blue. We're shopping, he's like, hey, let's buy you a coffee, whatever. I would get excited and I'd be like, oh my gosh, thank you, and I'd give him a kiss, right? That in my mind is okay until it's like, you know, me grabbing his face like a freak and just like, come here, like that's yikes. That's, no one needs that. But you know, walking around with like holding hands, I don't necessarily like
I'm talking about the real PDA where you seeing grabbing and one of them's turning into a Muppet.
Oh, like grabbing a butt.
Yeah, or worse. Have you ever seen the put your hands in their pockets? That one I hate. I can't do that one either. Like, you'll see two people, like, standing facing each other, and one, like, the guy usually puts his hands in her pockets. I can't do that one. I hate that one.
I think that's a little bit much. Like, if I'm...
We need to create a board. Like, the Hot Crazy Scale. Have you ever seen that board? Well, you're probably...
I feel like I might have.
It was in How I Met Your Mother, but there's there's other ones, too. There's a really good one on YouTube I'll send you.
Okay.
Where this guy has, like, zones, like the Tiffany zone or the hairdresser zone where you just don't go.
Okay.
Or there's a tranny zone, which is the really cool chicks. They're so cool that they're probably a dude. That's a tranny zone. Which,
okay.
Understandable. Trannies are cool.
All right, cool. I mean, yeah, but if I were to be walking with even a friend, like a friend or a boyfriend or whatever, and like, you know, they hold on to my pocket, like I don't necessarily have an issue with...
It just seems so childish to me. Like, it's like,
well, I'm easily
lost in the candy.
I'm easily lost. I have been told I'm easily kidnappable. Like, no one wants to be told that. Yeah.
That's a weird compliment.
I know. I was
you
like,
should really check the people you're around a lot heavier.
It's from work. Okay, it's a work thing.
It's a work thing.
You're
easy kidnappable. Thanks, work. I swear, there's like, I don't know, a test to make sure we're not talking like this here. Oh, right, you work for the government. I forgot. That's allowed.
No, it's... Can I say where I work? Is that allowed? Okay.
It's up to you.
Okay. But like, I mean, I already said I work at Best Buy. But I also work at UPS, and that place is just a mess of everything. So
yeah, it is.
So yeah, you're gonna be told you're easily kidnappable, and someone's gonna find out that you're easily scared and is gonna consistently just try to scare the crap out of you. Like, rude. A. B. Because they do it and I scream. Like, all of a sudden, if you're just hearing this high-pitched shriek out of nowhere, like, someone's gonna be a little bit concerned. They're probably gonna think that I hurt myself. Like, nah, I just got scared. Like, hurting myself, daily occurrence. We don't worry about that anymore. Me being what?
We're bigger than that.
Pretty much. I fell down the stairs yesterday.
How did you do that again?
I don't know. Like, I was walking down the stairs towards my room, right? Towards the basement. And I think I, like, had my foot, so the stairs like that, like, you know, I'm...
Way to use a visual.
I know. Podcasting is is not a visual medium.
At some
Thank you,
point,
Nicole Byer.
I will say this.
I love her.
She's awesome. I love Nicole Byer.
Her
At
podcast.
Some point,
whoa.
It
Yikes.
is great. Go try it out. If you haven't heard Nicole Byer's podcast, it's great.
It's bold. It's not for the faint of heart, and it is very explicit. However, her jokes, and she's just hilarious. So
I saw one of her old stand-up bits, because you know how I like to study that stuff.
Yeah.
She was at, I think, UMass, and someone recorded a bit of her doing, and she had been, like, brand new. She's still working stuff out.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
And she's in front of a small crowd of students, and she's talking about her dead parents. Cause she's
oh, my gosh. Her dead parents. She just jokes on jokes on jokes about her parents. She goes, I make jokes about my dead parents. I can do that because they're dead. And I'm like,
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going that way. All right.
She
Moving
is
along.
good. The first time I ever heard of her though was she broke a toilet.
Yes, on her podcast. Literally like 5 minutes before she went on to do a live podcast recording, because I've listened to all of her episodes. And yeah, she's
That
literally
picture
comes
so
on
good.
and she's just like, so I broke a toilet. Like
not just broke,
shattered. Like
the front, if you're looking at a toilet like straight on and it's your classic, kind
Yeah.
of glass style toilet, there's a 45-degree cut. And it just looks like somebody took a sword and just sliced it. Like at 45 degrees, so half of this toilet like collapses off. I've never seen anything fall apart like that.
I
It looks
love
like it
her
was
so
dropped.
much. Yeah, she's just so funny. And she posted a couple days ago that she was like crying at a restaurant as the waiter was going through a list of like options or something, and she's like, I looked down and I said, "Oh, big silverware," and I started crying. And I was like, "Yep, that's me."
That does sound like you, actually.
Like, I realized she and I are similar in some senses.
You-
Like, we
you
just
found
do
the
crazy
benefit
things.
When I was working for that one club,
Mhm.
they had something. They had a phrase for it. I'm trying to remember it, but it's when you find kind of like your niche in comedy.
Mhm.
And I've got people that I find hilarious that other people wouldn't. Bill
Yeah.
Burr, Whitney Cummings.
Oh, I like her too.
Whitney
Did you see
Cummings
her
is
new
funny.
one?
I did, yeah. It was
That
really
was so
good.
fun.
I thought she was.
Her freaking doll.
Yeah, Bear Claw. The thing is, like,
No. Yeah.
yeah, it's called Bear Claw.
I was like, wait, what?
The thing is, I don't laugh so much at her stand-up.
Mm.
Her podcast is very funny. She
haven't listened
shat
to her yet.
outside, and it was caught on her. I think they're called like Ring.
Mhm.
It's a recording on your doorbell.
Yep.
It's her sleepwalking outside with her dog, and she just drops trow in her yard. Remember, she's got a fiance, and she just shits in her yard. She doesn't remember it. She just came home.
Okay, if I could have a fiance see me do that and still want to marry me, like,
Oh, you found it.
oh my gosh, I would call you the next day and I'd be like, you can marry us, right? Yes, good. And then eventually we'd find like a priest and get like church married, but I'd be like, we need to
Church
lock this
married.
down. Like, we need to
There's
lock
two
this
steps.
we need to lock
There's
this down
church
legally
married.
because I can't lose that.
No. Yeah, I like her a lot. Bill Burr's my number one. Joe Rogan is always funny to me. Brandon Schaub is good. Brian Callahan's very funny. Callahan. But
Close enough.
there's all these comedians out there that you just look at and you're just like, oh my God, I had no idea these people existed.
Mm-hmm.
They're little names, but somehow they just kind of
Well, and I
ring
love that.
true with me. And it's
Yeah.
because there's some sort of shared trauma.
Yeah, pretty much. Literally, yeah. I feel like we were going somewhere with this.
We were talking about PDA, but we moved
Oh,
on.
no, we went on to how I fell.
Oh, that's right.
And I said something about Nicole, and we
Thank
just
you
went
for
on a
bringing-
tangent.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that back.
You're welcome.
I never keep track of that anymore.
I'm actually amazed that I did, because usually I'm the one, because I'll talk to myself a lot.
Yeah, usually it's my job to keep everyone on track, which I
literally-
suck at.
I talk to myself all the time, like driving to and from school.
You say that like it's a...
No, it's not.
I
I
won't
probably sound like psycho. But at the same time, like, I'm not as bad as Sophie, because she folds the mirrors in
Your
our
sister,
main
yeah.
bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
She'll fold them together, put her head in the middle, and talks to herself like she's talking to a group of people.
Boy, she's going to be excited to hear this.
Oh, everybody knows it. Like, she talks about it, too. She looks at me like 2 days ago. She goes, I'm not ready for like living in a dorm because my roommate is not going to like me. I talk to myself. They're going to think I'm insane. Like, I almost looked at her and said, well, Sophie, you are,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not what we're worried about. We're worried, like, what are you going to say? Because she'll just talk about like nonsense. And you're like, are you feeling okay? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just
I
you.
feel like that should be on a shirt that says, are you feeling all right, kid?
Literally. Henry. He just landed on his head. Yeah, he'll be fine. Do you think he has a concussion? He's probably had 10. I don't know. I swear we're good to the children. Like, we're just accident prone. So yes, I was walking down the stairs, and mind you, I had a glass of champagne over 2 hours ago. So like, there's no reason for liquor being the reason that I'm falling. It's just, I don't know. I was talking with my mom, and all of a sudden she goes, I just heard a bang. And I was like, yeah, I like shrieked. I'm like, ah! And just start falling down the stairs. I was probably like 5 stairs down, and I stepped like.
Did you step on like the edge?
Yeah, I think I stepped on the edge, like with my foot turned in.
Yeah.
I had no part of my foot on that stair, and I just went down and slid down like every stair. And I was like, all right, that happened. My mom's like, are you okay? Yeah, we're fine. I like stand up, walk. I'm like, oh, that was scary. That was a lot. Okay, we're good. We're good.
We are, yeah.
Like, I was like,
all
we're
right.
going to just tell ourselves. Why am I talking about myself like that?
Christ. Welcome to the podcast.
This is basically me talking to myself, though. Like,
well, I a little behind the scene. I always say that, but
behind the scenes.
Something
There
like
is
that.
no scene. This is not visual. Therefore, you can't be behind the scenes because.
Shut up, smartass. It's my show. No, but I always bring people on. I'm like, you can star in your own show, because I'm not saying shit. I just bring people on because it's interesting to meet and talk to different people. You have taken that to the fullest extent. You have taken it and ran away.
Well, this is
That's
the thing.
fine.
Like, this is kind of the stuff I do when I'm driving home or
I think
whatever
that's
else.
an intrinsic thing. Like, everyone likes to interview themselves in the car.
Oh, I'll have conversations with people in my head. Like, I figure out what I think they would say, or probably what I want them to say, honestly. But like, I fully, well, sometimes I'll be listening to a podcast and they'll say something. I'm like, I want to talk about that to myself.
I would never say that.
And so like, I'll sit and I'll talk to myself about like something that the podcast that I was listening to was talking about, as though I'm talking to someone. Like, I'll pretend like someone's riding shotgun and I'm like, hey, yeah, so like I have a whole conversation with them. I'm like, I might sound insane, but I don't believe I would do well podcasting, because I'd literally just do this and just rant and ramble, and I'd finish and be like, I think I blacked out there. I don't know what just happened.
I would like to do a podcast with all ladies. I wouldn't be in it. I would just be producing it. But I thought about it. I thought it'd be funny if I got you, Maggie, and Bella to do one.
Oh boy, that just sounds like.
But the thing is, there's no like alpha in any of you. None of you are really like, I'll guide this through.
Yeah, no, we kind
You're
of.
all just kind of like, I'll just sit and listen to whatever you have to say, which is so nice. It's so nice when you need a friend. But for a podcast, you kind of need somebody that's going to initiate a change.
I mean, I think we can take initiative on certain things, but definitely not on like focusing a
No.
long conversation just as itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we were to be walking around shopping and talking, like, one of us would be like, I'm going through something, and, you know, explain it, and then we'd be like, this is what I think will help you, and whatever else. But like, that's when you kind of take the alpha of
you need
let
to be
me help
something
you.
outside.
Yeah.
You need some away. Speaking of which, I have to do that. Remember we were scheduling the bit for me and Jonah at the mall? Maybe you weren't there, but
No.
me and Jonah, we're going to do a...
Crickets. Can you insert crickets in that spot, please?
No, I'm not talented enough to do that.
We'll figure it out. We'll Google it. I'll help you. We'll Google it. I'm really great at using Google to do shit. I want crickets in there.
It sounds like you want a job. That's what it sounds like.
Or not.
I was going to do a bit at the MOA with
I
Jonah.
love it.
And we were going to go to the stores that two white dudes should never be in. So things like
Yes.
Spencer's, Victoria's Secret. And we were going to go in and just...
Claire's.
Oh, God, I hate Claire's. I hate Claire's. That Claire bear is like little bear Hitler.
I mean, I got my ears pierced both times there. Maggie was with me the second time, and I basically passed out. I don't do well with needles.
Of course not. I don't know. Where would that come from? Like, I wonder where the first, like, ear piercings, that idea
That's
came from.
True. I feel like it was more of like a body piercing that people used to do, and it just kind of transferred into earlobes because it's not, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to pierce my arm or whatever. Like, that's weird, but I feel like people used to do something more like that than piercing their ears, and it just evolved to your ears as like a decoration around your face, maybe?
Yeah, I just looked it up. One of the oldest discovered mummified bodies is 5,300 years old, and it was found in a glacier in Italy. That sounds weird.
Oh, okay.
But it had ear piercings. Large ear piercings.
Like
7 to 11 millimeters.
Like something like a gauge almost then.
Probably. I wish I could see a picture of it. But it's weird, those little things that hang on, like ear piercings, like that hasn't gone away as beauty. Like standards of beauty have not changed when it comes to that side. Like ear piercings haven't changed.
I think even just standards
really
of beauty,
haven't.
like just that standard has kind of stayed the same. It's just the way we go about it. Like women will put on blush, red lipstick, and mascara. Like we want to accentuate those things. You want bigger eyes. You want your eyes to stand out.
Well, that's like a sexual thing, isn't it? Though, because like red lips and like big eyes.
The sexual thing, especially, and like the big eyes, but like and the
that's
blush
like a
is.
thing.
I think the blush could honestly be something of, like when you're drinking, your face gets flushed, and stuff like that. So maybe you like look more appealing because you look more alive because there's like red in your face, whatever. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm looking it up now.
I'm
this is what I wish.
BSing it, but
the ancient Egyptians were the first to incorporate blush into their beauty rituals. The Middle Ages saw a drop in the use of blush as red cheeks associated with prostitutes.
Hey.
Yeah, but why? Why do you use blush? Like I'm gonna guess that there is something like it's an attractive thing. To have color means like health.
Yeah, I think probably because it's like, when you're drinking, your face gets flushed. When you're out in the cold, your face gets flushed because you're trying to like stay warm. But then if you get too cold, you go pale.
Yeah.
And so it's just that like you're full of life, you're like.
Yeah, I bet it's a lively thing.
Yeah.
Like healthy, happy.
I wrote a paper on like women wearing makeup, especially in the workplace and stuff. And it was really interesting. Like, and especially then I was trying to figure out, when I wear makeup, how much I want to wear, whatever else. Cause my roommate would always do at least a little bit of eyeshadow, probably some eyeliner and mascara. Like she would get done up a little bit more every day.
Okay.
And then there's me, and it was like, we throw on mascara 90% of the time. If we're feeling frisky, we'll put on some blush too. like that's kind of where I went with it. It was, I don't need much. I don't want to change how I look. Like I grew up always having a kind of stage makeup from dancing competitively. And even then I never did like foundation or like none of that. Like I didn't do face makeup. It was just on your eyes, you do your blush and your lipstick. Like that was it. And so now I've kind of gotten a little more into using face makeup on occasion. Like I had some weird redness on my skin like last week, and I was like, I don't like this. This looks weird. And so I was doing makeup a little bit more, and I would wear a little bit of like face makeup, and I was like, oh, this looks good.
This is the type of stuff that I have
no idea.
I don't, I'm out of my depth here, but it's one of the big things. I was going to do a show with my friend Rachel, who was coming on, and she sells makeup for like a living.
Okay, yeah, like a Mary Kay kind of thing?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And she was going to walk me through it all, and I was not ready. I wasn't ready for it, but I'm excited to have her because her mom is also probably going to be on. Her mom's a nurse in a prison. So it's like this strange kind of like
how'd you get
combination
there? Yeah.
Between the two, and they're just rattle off each other. It's hilarious. So hopefully they come on.
Awesome.
But yeah, she sells that stuff, and every time she talks about it, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Go ahead and say it. But
honestly, I ask my little sister for help most of the time or whatever. Like, it's never been my thing, and I don't like feeling fake, I guess. Not to say like women who wear more makeup than what I wear is fake, but that's just not me.
Well, doesn't it change so much? Does it change quite a bit? Like fashion does change. Although
it's like little trends.
This might be a hot take. Girls' fashion really hasn't changed that much this decade.
No, I don't think so. I think it's
all the same.
But literally, my entire wardrobe is leggings. I own so many pairs, and I had a friend a couple days ago basically just
makes me sad.
What?
Kind of makes me sad in a way. Guys' fashion has come farther this decade than girls' fashion has.
I agree, and I think it's easier for guys to look like nicer.
I wouldn't even say it's easier. It's just it's openly like sold. Like you want to look this way. Whereas girls, it's like, oh, just throw on a pair of leggings.
Girls,
and a
it's
long
more
shirt.
of an athleisure thing that we've kind of stuck with for a while. Guys, it's become a lot more of you're gonna look nice. Like, I have a friend who he likes to say how he takes literally like 5 minutes on his hair, but he's very particular about it. And he goes, and we were talking about it one time, he goes, guys just don't try. It doesn't take much. Like, you literally need like 2 minutes and you'd look so much better. And if there's guys who are complaining, oh, I can't, like, no girls like me, whatever else, it's like, take 2 minutes for yourself. You're gonna be doing so much better. Like, you will do exponentially better. A podcast I was listening to last night, they were saying, like, they had all of their listeners kind of submit, like, yeah, this is my goals for the new year, like, in the new decade. And someone was saying, like, if they don't have a skincare routine, I'm not getting involved with them. Like,
oh, that is an interesting one, though.
And I was like, okay.
Guys don't use
it.
I don't have anything.
Well, no. But I think I can agree in the concept. Like, if you take time for yourself and you kind of, like, are wanting a little more from yourself than just, like, I got out of bed, I put on something, I ran out the door, and, like, I hoped my clothes didn't smell. Like, you don't want that.
No.
You could literally just take the time to have your clothes all hanging up, to, like, put a little product in your hair so it looks a little nicer, to wash your face, to do a face mask. Like, there's this guy that I know from work. He does face masks regularly, voluntarily. I was like, I love you. This is awesome. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen one done unless it's in the pictures. So it's like foreign, I think, to most guys.
Well, yeah, but it's that whole thing of girls do all these face masks, and it's this time for themselves just to kind of take care of their appearance, and if you don't take those like 2 minutes for yourself to just, and not necessarily have to have a skincare routine or to do your hair or whatever, but kind of like pampering yourself and working on how you present yourself, not necessarily physically, but like just how you present yourself, you know. I think people would do a lot better if we focused on that more.
Yeah. It is funny, though, to see. I wonder what the next big change will be. Because we're, like you said, we're going through this decade change. And girls' fashion has kind of stopped. When guys is kind of taken off.
But I think, like, young girls' fashion has evolved from dressing like a young girl to dressing like you're 21. And I'm here like, how? Like, there's these, like, 12-year-olds who look older than me.
Yeah. They all look the same. That's the thing, though. That's what I mean by stall.
Same, and I've heard guys say, like, I have to ask how old people are because this girl could be 12, she could be 17, she could be 25.
Yeah.
You don't know. And so all of those things of, oh, I'm not trying to catch a case, like, that's why, because you have 12-year-olds dressing and acting like they're 20.
Yeah.
Like, be a child. Please dress shitty. We all did it. You're gonna have those bad pictures. Please just embrace it, because as much as I hate people seeing those ugly pictures of me from half of my life, freshman year was not a good look for me.
Did you see, I know I'm kind of cutting you off short here,
No.
but speaking of going shitty, we're standing on the edge of a story that I thought was really interesting. You watch Queer Eye, right? Queer Eye for the Straight Guy? I can't remember the black guy's name.
Karamo. Sorry, I love this.
He got caught photoshopping a picture.
My baby.
Yeah.
He was judging Miss America, and as soon as I saw that, I got very excited, because every time I hear him talking on the show, like, it gets to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, please come talk with me. I just want to talk. I want to understand how your brain works. I love doing that. I love understanding more of how people think about things, because then I can understand them better. That's why I always ask people, like, why? Or if I'm out with a guy and they look at me and whatever else, or like chuckle and stuff, I'm like, what? They're like, I'm just looking at you. Like, okay, what's going on in your head? Like, what are you thinking? Whatever else. I know most guys are like, I'm not really thinking anything at all, and that's probably true.
Yep, crickets.
But, like, I want to know, I want to understand more than just, like, surface level stuff. Like, I want to understand, like, what about me you're into, what things you enjoy, what makes you happy, what just really gets under your skin.
You really come out of the gate swinging, don't you, in these?
What do you mean?
What makes you happy?
Well,
no, like, when I get into a relationship, it's like, what's your favorite color? Like, that type of stuff. I like warm-up practice, you know, like a batting practice before I jump in the game, start asking what makes you tick. But I also think that's because everyone's kind of going through their own thing.
Yeah,
you know, and you're
feel
more
like-
comfortable just jumping right off into the waters and of not knowing and
Yeah.
just finding it out. Because I'm the other way. I do not like
I'm-
people going right at that.
I don't like people.
That makes me sound really moody, but
No, I don't like people necessarily knowing everything that's bothering me. But if I'm in a bad mood or something's bothering me, I'll be direct about it and I'll tell people.
oh yeah, I'm covering that shit up.
And like, that's just who I am. And, you know, like if I'm having a conversation with my mom, like we just recently did, and she and my sisters were trying to say, like, well, mainly my mom was saying this, and then my sisters decided to like kind of come at me, and I was like, hold up, y'all can't say these things to me because you don't understand. But my mom was kind of talking about, you know, I have like this list of these top people, like these top guys that I think I could see you marrying, and I think would be really good for you and everything else. And I was like, thank you, I appreciate it. Fun fact, you made the list.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, this sounds a little weird for me.
It
Like,
was,
that's a hard. I don't know.
It
I'm
was this
fascinated
whole
by these
thing.
families that we grew up around, because I know I'm kind of the foreign one out of all of our friends, because
Mhm.
for obviously
A variety
now,
of reasons,
For
yeah.
a variety of reasons, and for people who don't know what I'm talking about, I went to a very conservative Catholic high school, and I'm not a very conservative Catholic person, so I was kind of
Yeah.
a fish out of water when I got there. And the families were lineage parents. So they're parents that have known each other or have family that has gone to that school for years and years and years. So it's kind of a family ordeal. So stepping in, it was like, I was very misplaced, I guess,
Yeah.
at first. You could tell I stood out.
Mhm.
And I was fine. You know,
I
like,
mean, I used to skip around. I had a nickname for my like middle school crush, and I'd scream that like
You
a
didn't
psycho.
need to add that, but that's okay. You
like
did.
like I was a lot.
But what I'm trying to get at is they do that. Like, they track their kids. That freaks me out. People track their kids.
Yeah.
They
I think-
track their phone. Like, if they don't know where they are. I was out with my buddy the other day, and his mom called him because he went to a certain location in the city she didn't know he was going to. And I'm like, that's creepy, but that's normal there. And to make a list of... people make a list of this stuff,
Yeah.
and I don't know. That
It
it freaks me out. My parents were so
yeah.
big on selling trust. Like, if we give you this many hours, use those hours, but just come back when we're done and build that trust, and you get a longer and longer leash. Whereas the older people get, it seems like the less trust they get.
Yeah.
Like, there's an expectation of you to fail every time that you get out, and you should fail, but it shouldn't be an expectation or every
punished.
day.
It shouldn't be a bad thing if you do. It should be a learning experience, and it should. I don't know. I've kind of got my certain feelings about all of it, and it's nothing against my parents or the way they've parented me, because I love them. So literally, I told my mom,
they're wonderful people. I don't want to sound like I'm coming
love
at
my
them.
parents, and they do so much because they love me, and because they're watching out for me. But like I've talked to a lot of people, I'm 21. I could be out of my house. I could be living across the country. I did the brain.
Yeah, I can understand living across the country, because I'm looking at jobs all over there. But it's just funny to me, because I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, and this isn't related to you. I know we jumped off onto this tangent because we were talking about lists and people making lists for you, but just the amount of, like, distrust that people have, and they don't teach you anything. Like, I'll give you an example.
It's
like,
fear of anything outside of what's in our core school and what we agree with and what we believe, and it's like,
it doesn't teach you how to deal with it, though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And like, being in an apologetics class, I was like, I didn't learn
Jack
anything to, like, I didn't learn anything that was gonna help me do anything outside of, like, I felt like I knew nothing after that class. Like, I was like, I don't know, that felt like a waste of time to me. But
it actually hurt my beliefs more, because I'm not practicing.
Yeah.
Some of our friends still are, but I'm not.
I think that it's, and even like in our capstone class, like, we would try to have these, what I thought were much, much better conversations about just Catholicism in general, you know, like, just understanding why we believe what we believe, because 90% of us are cradle Catholics at that school. We didn't make the choice to believe it. We just kind of have it forced on us, and you're shunned if you don't believe it. Like, but why do I believe it? Why am
I wanted to ask the hard questions, and everyone didn't like that.
Oh, no. Our teacher decided every time we would try to get on that topic, well, let's get back on topic. No, this is the topic that we should be focused on. We should be pushing ourselves to talk about. And we're not, which is so upsetting, because as someone who loves to push for higher education, why aren't you saying this to us? Like, why aren't you?
Well, I just remember people being really scared to talk about certain stuff.
Yeah, because you couldn't.
Yeah, you can't talk about it.
You can't start a conversation about it because they don't want to have a conversation. They just want to say, this is what it is, end of story.
Yeah.
Tell me why. That's another thing. I like to ask why. I mean, as I already said, but I want to know why. Because if I'm just blindly saying something, I don't want to end up being that person who finds out 10 years later, I was agreeing with this thing that I should have never agreed with because of all of these reasons, but I never knew because I didn't understand it.
Can I ask maybe a sensitive question, but this is going to sound really crazy. Okay. But this is, I've been with cults and I've studied crazy religious stuff, and I find it really interesting. What's the difference between a closed-minded, in this case it's a school, but a lot of churches are like this, and they're very individual on the community. What's the difference between that being a religion and a cult?
Honestly, I think it's the perspective that people have on it.
Yeah.
Because I know a
people
lot of people
like,
that
what's a cult's definition too? I'm just saying, like, when you look at them objectively to you.
No, I mean, I was in this dance a few years ago, and my choreographer was saying, like, yeah, this is basically shunning organized religion and all this stuff. I'm like, Catholic over here, but but it's at the same time, I'm like, but I don't understand everything, and I want to understand it before I can really get into it. And I know I have my certain things of, like, I love the very traditional stuff, because that's what I grew up in and that's what feels very comfortable to me. There's also a Middle Eastern church that I love where everybody there feels like family. And I basically call it my home. Like it is a home to me basically. But at the same time, I'm not necessarily there because like this is where I feel a deepest connection to God, but it's like I feel the most comfortable here. Like I don't feel like if I walk in here in whatever I'm wearing for the day because I had to stop here, like I'm in between places, but I made the time to be here. Like whatever I'm wearing, they're going to accept you there. They're going to praise you for being there, not shun you for what you're wearing or, hey, you walked in 10 minutes late. Like, excuse you. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get that.
That pushed me out quite a bit was
Mm-hmm.
people, there's almost like a ranking system of how
Yeah.
you're accepted. And like, I don't know. I just found that some of the worst people I knew were practicing people. And they sat down in the front row thinking that they were amazing because they were there at a certain time when they needed to be. That is so fake and artificial. It shows me that they don't have a lot in their life.
Yeah. Well, and like I
say that kind of
Yeah.
questioningly because I'm still trying to figure that all
Mhm.
out. But I don't know. It is interesting to me to hear when people say that because it is a very specific thing to living the way we have
yeah.
and where we came from, to hear people making lists. And especially for families like my buddy and that are tracking them, and all of a sudden you're sowing all these seeds of distrust, like you can't trust them, and all of a sudden you got a kid halfway across the country that doesn't know how to act or behave because they've never been taught how to deal with that responsibility because their parents clearly can't teach that if they're just going
Yeah.
to be controlling. And
Yeah.
then you get parents offended because kids act out, and it's like, well, there's a lot of you in that kid, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to me to hear that because by no means am I saying I was raised right or wrong or anything.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was just
no.
raised the way I was. I always knew I was kind of like on the peripheral of how people were being raised, and I know my parents definitely raised me differently than the rest.
Yeah.
And I think I'm in a majority of how I was because every kid I talk to has
Mhm.
pretty similar background. But when we talk about like that school or just growing up kind of covered in that faith, you hear about parents like tracking their kids
Yeah,
and doing
it's
some crazy shit that
some
you're just
of
like,
that stuff,
it's
it's
like you
like-
haven't read a parenting book.
well, and I think
And here
like,
I am, I'm not a parent.
I
but-
mean, if you're gonna, I pretend like I know anything about being a mom. Like, I'll say, yeah, I have like these mom instincts, but it's because I kind of had to take on a babysitter role sometimes and just kind of watch them, and you don't
Yeah.
know. Or
well, you come from such a big family too.
yeah,
There's
and
roles.
we would go to church like midnight mass for Christmas. If my younger brother was acting out, I was the one taking him out to the car, and I'd sit with him. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember one time just being so upset, and I was like, I am missing this for you, and you won't shut up. Like, stop crying, stop throwing your damn tantrum. Like, just shut up for 10 minutes, because honestly, like, I'm stuck here with you.
You're stuck
would-
here with me.
Like, I'd rather be in there. Like, I love this part of what's going on right now, and I know it's happening because it's the same thing every year, and I love that tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the one who's making it not possible for me, because I know dad's busy doing this for it. Dad's also wanting to make sure that mom gets to enjoy it because she gives so much to us. So it's like, yes, I'll happily do that for my mom, but I want to enjoy this too, damn it. Like,
yeah.
just freaking what? So, yeah.
No, crazy stuff going on.
But
with
yeah,
life.
it's definitely one of those things, like trying to figure out how to even just tell my parent, like talk to my parents and say, you know, I want to do this, and it's not me asking permission, it's me telling you,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, tattoo. That's been something that I've had my thoughts on for a while, years, honestly. And I've had the same idea for that tattoo, like at its base, for most of that time. And I think that's why I'm at peace with the idea of getting it. I'm a little nervous for like the actual tattooing part of it, but the idea of having that on my body forever, I'm at peace with, kind of thing. Like, I'm good with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it doesn't scare me or anything. Like, my fear is the needle. It's not the
it's
not the I'm gonna get old and my skin's gonna get, like, I've put thought into all of that because I've sat and talked with people and I'm like, yes, but if I put it somewhere else, then it loses this effect or it loses this part about it that I want. So having it on my shoulder would be like, your skin doesn't necessarily stretch as much there, as like if I were to get it on my ribs, watch me get pregnant, that stretches out weird and then it contracts weird. Like,
that ain't no butterfly.
Like, that would be disgusting, especially because it's like got the golden mean, the rectangle and all of that. Like, yeah, I'm too particular for that. Like, I cannot have that not mathematically proportionate.
Can we jump off here? Because this is a good question. We're turning the decade, and like I started out with the show, the first thing I saw this morning is what it'd be like to be 31. You ready to age up? Are you ready to go up?
No.
I know it's a little like over the top of a question.
I mean, honestly, I still feel like I'm 16. Probably part of that is the way things are at home. Again, not saying anything bad about my home or my family or anything else, but it's like, I want a little more freedom or whatever. So, but it's like, holy crap. 10 years ago, I was disgusting looking. I was an odd child, like all of this, like there's so much going on. And I feel like I feel like that was forever ago, but I feel like 31 is going to be here in no time.
I feel like it's going to come faster than everything else, because from my freshman year of high school till now, it feels like a flash. Mm-hmm. And I can only imagine what work it's going to be. Yeah,
well, it's the same thing, so it gets repetitive. You don't necessarily have all of these like markers of, you don't have those markers of, oh, I turned 10, now I'm double digits. I turned 13, now I'm a teenager. I turned 18, I'm an adult. I turned 21, I can drink. I'm more of an adult.
I love that there's that rank up system.
Literally.
It's more so in Germany.
Oh gosh, is it?
Yeah, when you turn, is it 18, you can have liquor, but you can't have hard liquor.
Yeah.
And then at 21, you can have hard.
I was going to say, I know, or I feel like I should know this better. My uncle is living in Germany. He has been for the last couple of years. He keeps saying to come visit. I'm like, yeah, but...
You should. It'd be awesome.
But that means like taking money and putting that into something else. And it also means like I'd have to figure out work, like time off of work. And I'm amazed I've had this month off at UPS. And the only reason I've got it is because I'm injured and I physically cannot do it.
Crazed rotator cuff you.
I know. It really sucks. I was carrying an air fryer yesterday and I was like, this is difficult. Like I could feel it like kind of strain. And I was like, wow, this is going to be a rough time getting back to where I was after 2 years there of constantly just going ham. Like, holy crap. And that's another thing. Like I've noticed, like I had some pretty decent muscles. Like that's definitely diminished now. And I'm like, great, now I'm going to have to start working out. And I'm terrified of working out. I'm terrified of the gym. I tell everybody this, like it just scares me. And it's probably that same thing of I don't like sticking out for the wrong reasons. I've never had to work out in a gym. I've danced my whole life. Like that has kept me in shape. I knew what I was doing. It wasn't a normal, like, I'm gonna go to the gym, go lift some weights, go do some cardio, whatever. Like, I've never had to do that. Even at school when we'd do weight room, I would just sit there and stretch. Like, I was not the person to, oh yeah, I'll just learn how to use this equipment. Nah, never felt like that. Never was into it. It's never been me, but I'm like, oh great, now I have to like learn this. And I don't want to, but I kind of have to now.
Well, you could do like natural stuff. That's like considered to be some of the most effective is like push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yoga sculpt, like your boy. I did. Oh my God, that was crazy. I did that yoga sculpt class and I had to write the article. I still have to send you that. That article actually turned out decent.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not many of them do, but that one kind of did.
Oh, my Minnesotan came out.
Whoa. Yeah.
It's the only way I'm Minnesotan. Otherwise, I went to Texas. They're like, never would have thought you're from you're like from Minnesota.
No, because most people don't actually have a Minnesota accent.
Oh, I know people
it's
who
called
do.
a Michigan accent.
I know people who are
They're
thick
full.
Minnesotan accents, and I'm like that's a thing. I forgot. Like that's not just a comedy sketch. Like people actually talk like that, and I kind of forgot that until.
It's a weird thing to have. Like you would think you'd be
yeah.
self-conscious. Makes it sound like we need to purge it.
You're accent shaming now. I don't know. I don't know.
I barely have
one of my friends,
I know I have a Michigan accent.
a good friend of mine, I've known him forever. He went and lived in Ireland for a year doing mission work and all this stuff. So he's got this Irish accent down and he can slip into it like nothing. And he works with me at Best Buy, which makes it even funnier. He goes, yeah, I've definitely just slipped into the accent and convinced people I was Irish. Like he is, but like, you know, like more Irish than he really is. And he goes, I've definitely sold things to people because they hear my accent and they get excited. I was like, I would too if I could do an accent. Like, are you kidding me? And so he was hanging out with my brothers and then he started doing the accent. And Sophie just about pooped herself. She was so excited. Like
That's the way you want to describe that?
Like she was freaking out. She's like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like every time he would say something that wasn't in like a normal American accent. And what was it? Oh, competitively. He kept saying competitively and it was cracking up both my sisters. They're like, say it again. Because it's like, I'm going to butcher this, but it's like, I can't do it now. I'm too in my head. I am. But it was one of those things that you say it and it sounds so different in an accent and they just couldn't get enough of it.
Oh.
And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, accents, you know.
I need to get you a map.
Come in my brain. It's terrifying inside. There's
no thanks.
No start or end. You're just there. You wander a little while.
I don't even.
It's aggressively sharp corners constantly.
We're just going to stop right there. We're just going to stop. We're going to change gears. We're going to slow down. Get out of your head. Oh, God.
Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe that is a problem. That could be a problem. We don't know yet. Has been a problem so far. I wanted to go to my list. 1 second. Oh, I wanted to bring this up to you because we were talking a little bit about faith. Did you see the Pope slap somebody?
What?
Yeah.
Did you hear in 6th grade, one of the nuns at school threw a book at a kid? A textbook. Math textbook. Chucked it over her head at this kid because he used whiteout in the front of the book where you like write your name. And he apparently did something and so he was trying to like fix it. And yeah, she saw it.
Overhead yeet?
Yeah. Full just chucked it.
Why? Oh.
I don't know. She was psychotic. Like
most nuns are. Like the ones that teach. The old ones that teach definitely have. They have like some tires that have been on a car far too long.
She was a handful. Like I told her for Lent I was gonna keep my hair down because that was a huge thing for me. I was constantly messing with my hair. I mean, I do it a little bit now, but I had it in a braid, took it out every 10 minutes or less. Like always playing with my hair. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna keep it down. And she looks at me and she's like, well, I would advise you to pick something else because when you keep your hair down, your hair falls out more, and then it gets all up in my, like all in the bottom of my habit, and it just drives me nuts. Like, I didn't really ask you, and I'm not changing my Lenten penance for something to fit your needs. Like,
Yep.
I'm not trying to make your life any easier. Also, give that up.
That sounds like somebody that knew they weren't going to get married, so went to something else.
Oh gosh, now I'm thinking of her like if she were if she were to be married or something. That poor man. I would slide him like little gift baskets of like the little alcohol bottles and just be like,
maybe the reason they're mean is because they can't get banged.
oh my god.
Maybe that's the reason. Maybe you need to vent it out a bit. We all just want to be, coughed up like the dirty whore we are.
I mean, I was reading this Native American book in my Native American lit class. Like,
so terrible. Sorry.
It was
that's something horrible.
It was so weird. Like, this girl dressed up as a priest and like went and was the priest for a bunch of like Native Americans. And then she fell in love with the priest that came to like help out and like kind of help the situation. And she was still like in her priest thing. And the other guy was like, I think I'm into this person. Like, I feel an attraction, but like I can't because it's a guy and I can't be gay. And then he found out that it was a girl disguised as a priest. And he was like, oh, I feel better about this because I know deep down she's a female. And like the female priest would like let the nuns like go behind the convent and they were having sex and everything else. And I was like, this is insane.
Oh yeah, the church there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened.
So
when it
much
comes to
going
sisters.
on. And I remember like the guy sitting beside me in that class, like he and I were always constantly like just making little one-liners to each other of like, what the hell is going on? I was really proud. The one thing I understood that was going on in the book was the Latin things that the priest says. I was like, hey, I know what this says. Like, I almost like stood up in class and was like, y'all need a translation? Come to me. Like, I got this.
Oh my God.
I didn't, but I was like, hey, this is the one thing I know that's going on because everything else is insane. Like, I would swear that person, whoever wrote it, must have been on some hardcore drugs or a mix of them. I don't know. It was weird. I didn't know.
You underestimate the person sitting in a dark room who's horny who is not allowed to talk about it.
Okay, maybe that. Maybe they were just horny. I don't know, but I'm scared. Like, I was truly scared. Like, what is this? And every day it just kept getting weirder and weirder. And I look at him like, what are we reading? And he's like, I don't know. I'm like half asleep right now. And I'm like, awesome. I wish I was too. Like, it was the weirdest class. And it was taught by a British man. And he liked to say things like, we should feel bad for like taking over the Native Americans' land. And I wanted to just look at him and be like, you're a fucking British man.
Yeah.
You
are
the last person to say this.
I was going to go like, are we not just going to talk about that sister gangbang that just happened? Are we not going to talk about that?
That was just like off on the side of like, oh yeah, and the nuns are having sex behind the convent. Like, that was a totally normal thing. Apparently, it was like,
Sister
yeah,
Act
good
3.
for them. And I was like, this is no, like, they're not nuns at this point. Like, you can just call them like women wearing a habit under a disguise. Like, they're disguised as nuns. They're little prostitutes disguised as nuns. Like, that's not a nun anymore. Like, don't call it that.
I wonder when a nun isn't a nun anymore. Like,
when she's hooking up with the...
I need to get a sister in here. I do actually. I do need to get a sister. I was gonna go down to I won't say the name of the town, but I'm gonna go visit an old friend of mine who teach me how to like spell, and it's a sister. I wanted to ask her a bunch of questions like this.
Oh my gosh.
She's so game. She's a savage. I love her.
Love that. I feel like that's one thing, like, with a lot of religious people who are younger, they're a little more approachable, but I still don't.
Oh, this gal is going into her 90s. She's a savage. Like,
okay, yeah,
savage.
You're either like
She's amazing.
an old person or you're really young. Like, that middle like age, I hate them all. Not really all of them, but like, ugh, you know. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't like some of them. A lot of them. That's terrible.
I kind of want to end it there.
I mean,
Well, here, why don't we have one more closing thought, and then we'll take this thing home, okay? What the hell?
okay, be happy I haven't done that more.
Well, the Pope slapped somebody who was grabbing him.
Okay.
Like, aggressively hard, apparently. This just came out. I haven't gotten a chance to read the news. But I'd kind of be open to having a Pope that just open slap palm. You know, like palm to face, just cranking him out, elbow up, you know, slap contest. I think that'd be something fun, something new, something fresh to the church.
Well, if you think about it, like, that's a person. Like, the Pope is a person. They have a personal bubble. Yes, you want to, like, he's this big figure,
so
but like,
because his face he kind of looks like a sad cat a lot of times.
Well, like, just respect the fact that he's a person too, and he's like he has all of these eyes on him and all of this stuff, like people constantly grabbing at you. Like, you'd get really fucking tired of it too if everybody decided to just like start grabbing at you because you have this title. You know?
Yeah, that's true. It's totally understandable that
so
it is
like,
still a person. The thing is, I just can't believe that it was a woman that he hit. That she would grab somebody like that, because she grabbed him quite aggressively.
I think it's like, come on, like, be better than that. Like, don't be that person fawning over a celebrity, whether it's a religious figure or it's a Kardashian or whatever else. Like, also, I hate them. I don't care if you have 800 cars that all individually cost more than my entire college tuition. Good for you. Do something better. I don't know. But it's like, I don't know, like, figure out that that's a person too, just like you and me. Not everybody. A lot of these people started out doing the same thing. Like, there's people who started out doing a podcast that 2 people listen to, and now they have like 2 million people listening to them. Like, you have to start at a certain spot.
That's a weird jump you made right there.
Like,
We're talking about an old guy, and now you're talking philosophical.
All I'm saying is, like, this guy's a person too, so, like, don't, like, yes, he's got this high standing and everything else, but stop acting like, if you, like, I don't know, I feel like you just give him some personal space. Like, you saw him. There you go. Like, you don't need to go above and beyond. Like, just be happy that you got to see him or whatever else. Or you extend your arm if he reaches out, shakes your hand, or touches your finger. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, yay for that. But that can be where things, like, you don't have to go so crazy, because then you've earned it. Like, more people should get slapped, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there'd be a better world if you can openly just hit people when they're being, you know, all shitty.
Yeah.
Just hit them just once. And then a lot of stupid people. But go ahead.
I mean, I would only be okay with that if I could hit well.
What kind of... You can't choose. That doesn't work that way.
No, but, like, I know
doesn't
the way.
work
I
that
can't
way.
hit well. I've tried to learn. I can't hit, can't punch.
Take a boxing class. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's go.
All right. For our closing, I want to leave people with something they learned. And this one will be fun because I wanted to highlight, I went through a bunch of interesting things to happen this decade.
Oh, yikes.
Emojis were invented this decade. Would you believe that? It
Yeah.
feels like they've been around forever. It feels like they've been around longer, but they're from the iOS 5 on Apple.
Whoa.
In 2011. So they just made it to this decade.
Wow.
And they've been adding new emojis every single year since they've been made. And they actually were started on Japanese cell phones in the late 90s, but didn't come to America until 2011.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So, crazy thing that happened. Emojis are now sometimes used in messages more exclusively than words are, which is kind of crazy to think about.
No, the worst is when people like text and they're like, Merry Christmas, and then a Christmas tree and happy like smiley face New Year explosion emoji. Like, no, just no.
Another horrible thing that happened this decade is the BuzzFeed personality quizzes were one of the most heavily tracked internet site. Did you ever take those?
And I hate those. Like,
I hate them. I can't stand them.
I love them, but it's like, honestly, you can't act like that's actually telling you something about yourself because what? No, like it's not. But also those personality quizzes, like the Myers-Briggs and things like that.
Those are kind of cool.
Those are fun.
Those are really interesting. There was a lot of crazy things that happened this decade. Beyonce's Lemonade came out in 2016 where she dropped it silently. Remember, she didn't tell anybody?
Yeah, I've literally still never listened to that whole thing.
No. Bono uploaded his new, his band. What's his name? U2? He uploaded his album just forcefully onto everyone's iTunes accounts. It was free.
Oh!
No one remembers that, though. That happened, I think, in 2014.
That is the biggest power move I've ever heard.
Huge? He just apologized as an artist will be an artist. And that's just what they're going to be. And I love that move. That's such a power move. Another big thing to happen this decade is Macklemore's The Heist. I know we're kind of hitting the music. Remember Macklemore?
Oh, yeah.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
Yeah.
That was one of the biggest albums this year. Or this decade. I'm going through my list. I had a bunch of stuff. You know what also was this decade?
Ed Sheeran is taking his second break of the decade.
Oh, he is.
Oh, my baby.
He's had a weird couple years because of Louis Capaldi in Europe. Do you remember The Dress?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember that year.
That annoying shit.
I'm trying to remember the year. I think we were still in high school. It says on my screen it was 2017. I feel like it's earlier. But
yeah, I would have said it like 2016 maybe, but
I thought so too because I remember the person who talked to me about it was in high school.
Yeah,
I bet it was earlier. But The Dress was one of the biggest internet. 2015, I found.
I was gonna say like it sounds like a 2015 thing though, but yeah, or Laurel and Yanny.
That I couldn't stand. That was something.
Like I hate those things because it becomes this whole thing of let's pit everybody against each other. Like come on, it's annoying. Those kind of things are just annoying to me. Or the post where it's like, share this with 10 friends.
Those I can't stand.
And like oh my gosh, like
we really did see the fall of Facebook this decade, haven't we? We've seen them buy into new things like Instagram, but they've kind of disappeared. Some of the biggest news stories, 2010, Deepwater Horizon. Do you remember that? That's when the oil rig fell into the ocean.
Oh,
and they had to scrub everything.
Yes.
That happened this decade.
Whoa.
We'll do 10 events over these 10 years. 2010, Deepwater Horizon was one of the biggest stories in the Gulf of Mexico, killing 11 workers and spewing oil into the Gulf for months. 2010, Bin Laden died. I remember this. I remember I was in middle school. I think I was a 6th grader. No, I was a 7th grader in middle school. But
did you like that dance move of mine?
I'm going to pretend it didn't happen.
That's how I catch all the men. You love me.
2013, Boston Marathon bombing.
Whoa. That was in 2013? That feels like yesterday almost.
It does feel like yesterday. That was 2013 that happened. A pair of bombs killed 3 people and injured more than 260 others. I forgot the number was that big. I thought it was like they killed 15 and then like 12 others were hurt.
Yeah.
But it was a big mass number.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
2014, I remember this because I was in Israel. The spread of ISIS. ISIS started in 2014, becoming what they are known as today. It feels like they've been around longer. It feels like they've been around for 15 years. It really does. But that's because Al-Qaeda kind of trickled off and ISIS
everything's
rose.
just kind of melded into each other.
Yeah.
You're just like, yep, it's all just a shit show.
2015, same-sex marriage was legalized in the United States. 2016, Donald Trump was elected. This year was really interesting. 2017 was probably the most interesting year for me because of sports. But 2017 was the most interesting year. But that was the Me Too phase. That's what my list says. Do you remember that? Online? We'll move on.
I'm sorry.
Some of these are moving along.
I think some people play into such a victim character that doesn't need to be.
Well,
as
you walked in
exploited
when I
as it
was
is.
reading about Jussie Smollett. I find
Mhm.
those cases fascinating of people that are jumping on.
Honestly, don't be a victim. Like, call it what it is. Move on. Get over it.
And then
Like, shit sucks, but move on with your lives.
I'm going to skip the music because I feel like most of us know a lot of the music that happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a huge list of people to hold the number one. Ed Sheeran only has 2.
My love, Shape of You, and Perfect.
Old Town Road has the longest with 18.
What are Ed's songs? Shape of You and Perfect?
Yes. Shape of You was held
He's
at
my
number
husband,
1 for 12
so-
weeks and Perfect for 6. Taylor Swift had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Holy shit.
Pharrell had 2. Justin Bieber had 5. Adele had 4. Maroon 5 had 3. Katy Perry had, holy smokes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
I
7,
forgot
8.
she existed.
Yeah, she had 26 weeks at number 1.
I forgot she existed, and I'm 100% okay with that.
Bruno Mars had 7 number 1s.
Love him.
Rihanna had 9.
Dang.
Yeah, she was crazy. Drake has 49 weeks at number 1, and he has got 6 songs. So he would be considered kind of the king of this decade.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Isn't that insane? I know I said I was going to skip that, but it just got interesting. Some of the
But
top,
it just got interesting as I went into it.
yeah, some of the top movies from this decade. This is not an official list. This is from people who are just online, like me and you, making this list.
Those are the best lists.
Yeah. Social Network came out in 2010.
That's insane because that's such a big thing now. Like,
Andrew Garfield was in that movie. I can't remember him in that movie. I forgot about that. Looper 2012 came out. Snowpiercer 2013. I still haven't seen that movie. Her, I do remember this movie about the guy falling in love with the interface. It was Scarlett Johansson's voice.
no.
It was like a guy falls in love with Siri. And it was Jacqueline, what's his name? It's Jacques. He's the new Joker.
Oh, Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix. He
I
falls
haven't
in
seen
love.
that movie either.
That is a huge movie. You got to see that.
I've been told.
But yeah, he falls in love with like a
Someone-
Siri interface, and it's apparently a very interesting movie. Birdman came out in 2014. That was a great movie about trying to make it as a failed actor and just kind of the desperation of humanity. And it was a really
Everyone's
good movie.
desperate. The
Edge
end.
of Tomorrow came out in 2014, redefining redefining action movies with Tom Cruise. Live, Die, Repeat. Do you remember that movie where he was
trying
like
to think of it.
every day he died, he came back and he got a chance to redo it until he completed the mission? Fantastic movie, really good action movie.
I feel like there's a lot of movies that do that.
No, I think that was one of the first ones. Live,
No.
Die, Repeat.
No, not like that wasn't the first one, but like there's been so many movies like that, I feel.
Of just pure action.
No, where you like keep dying and waking up the same day.
I don't know. We'll revisit that. I feel like that was the first one. Groundhog Day in that one. I think of Groundhog Day with Bill Murray.
There's been more and more being made. I think.
I haven't seen those then. Mad Max Fury Road was in 2015. I believe it collected an Oscar for Best Makeup. That movie was phenomenal. That had
Was
some
it?
big actors, yes.
I've put
Tom
that
Hardy
on the
was
shelves at
starring
work.
in it, but he wasn't.
I
there for
had
me.
no idea he was British.
Yeah, he's British.
I didn't know until I was watching like a Venom interview, and I was like, whoa, never would have thought in a million years that this guy has a beautiful accent. And like, yeah, it's not like a posh British accent, but that's like better, you know?
Yeah, I can't believe he didn't know he was British. 2016 had
Sorry.
Moonlight, which was I think it's more famous for being announced as the winner of the Academy Award after another movie. Do you remember this?
I remember everybody freaking out about that, but like,
Do you remember what movie was originally announced and the cast had to change it?
oh gosh.
Quick pop quiz.
No.
It was La La Land.
Yeah, that's what it is.
La La Land went up there and they realized Moonlight had
Mhm.
actually won.
Ooh.
I think that's off the top of my head memory, so I probably am
Ooh.
wrong.
Yikes. See, that's a
Arrival?
cringe moment.
Arrival in 2016. I did not see that movie, but apparently it was very
I
good.
don't think I did either.
Get Out, 2017.
I watched that. What the hell was that? I'm sorry. That's just.
I haven't seen it. I do want to see it though. I heard it's phenomenal.
I mean, it's a good movie, but at the same time, you're like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's weird.
2017, the second out of the 3-part episode system of the Star Wars new franchise, Last Jedi, came out.
Still haven't watched it. I watched one of them at your house a few years ago when we were in high school, and I fell asleep. That's the only time. It's the only time I've watched Star Wars.
I feel really bad about what they did to Star Wars because it is the fans. I blame people like me. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and I feel like Disney listened too much to the fans. And at the same time, I think Disney also. I think you've got to accept that you fucked it up and we fucked it up.
That's in anything. You can't listen to like the people supporting you and like the fans. Like, you have to just keep doing the same thing.
Well, they just kept saying it was garbage. Like, it was the opposite of what usually happens when you have a bunch of yes men around. They said it was garbage, it was garbage, it was garbage. They're not doing this, they're not doing that. And then we go do that. It wouldn't work. They tried to have more modern, like, casting, and that casting just didn't fit. And all of a sudden we're trying different storylines, and the storyline didn't fit. So it was all awful. And I think the biggest issue was J.J. Abrams was at the helm for the first and last episode, but not the middle.
Oh, okay.
So the story, like, was just thrown out halfway through, and then J.J. came back and, like, tried to fix it again, and it just became a clusterfuck. Thor Ragnarok in 2017.
Oh, so good.
This might be one of the, like, my soft favorite movies of the decade. Because of how, like, it redid superhero movies and how funny it was.
It kind of
Taika
initiated...
Waititi was phenomenal.
It kind of initiated, like, Marvel's kind of new mood.
Yeah,
they tried,
they tried different directing, and they tried something a little less...
They tried a lot, like, they did a lot. Like, you see, like, the original Iron Mans and... like all of this stuff, and then you watch like the new stuff and you're like, wow, this is shifted a lot.
It was definitely a tone change. Same year, 2017, The Shape of Water.
Never watched it.
I wanted to see it because it was Guillermo del Toro. He's a phenomenal director. He does monsters really well. That was the one with the fish man.
Yeah, it looked like something I'd want to watch, but I never got around to watching it. There's a lot of movies like that.
Good actors. Wonder Woman in 2017. That was a big moment for a lot of reasons. Black Panther in 2018. Really good movie. Great movie. This movie I was talking about with my brother the other night, that it won Oscar for Best Animated Movie in 2018. It was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Fantastic movie. And you wouldn't, like, if you just heard it on paper, you wouldn't think about it.
No.
We've got, like, 6 different Spider-Men all in one movie. It sounds like a clusterfuck. But it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
The characters were great. I
cried.
Yeah.
In the scene with Stan. I literally...
Spoilers.
It's Spider-Man. It's got Marvel in it, in its blood. I know it's a Sony movie, but, like, it's got... Isn't it Sony? Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man is actually still owned by Sony.
I know, but they worked out 2 more movies.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Tom Holland's post when he like they got approved for the 2 movies. Yeah. That was the best use of like quoting a movie ever. Oh. Ever.
Yeah, that was good. And the last movie on this list, I have heard I do need to see this. This movie looks fantastic. It's filmed by I'm going to slaughter his name. Bong Joon-ho. I believe he's Korean, but he made a movie called Parasite. It looks phenomenal. So it's 2019. Go out and see it. It's going to be a big hit, I think, at the Academy Awards. It's supposed to be kind of a satirical comedy, but it's also really serious about the haves and the have-nots.
Ooh.
It looks fantastic. So go out, check that out.
There's a lot of movies I want to watch, and I keep just binge watching Netflix shows. So
yeah, I know. It's with all the ease that streaming has been, especially this decade, streaming has just taken over. People just don't go out to see anything kind of new. It's so easy to just turn on and stream something you've already seen. I've watched Stranger Things, I think, 4 times, and it's a problem.
Well, I just went out and watched, what was it? The new Jumanji movie.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I went with...
Those are just fun movies.
One of my friends, and it was so funny, but it was cute and whatever else. And then I was going to see Knives Out, but then it got really late and I had to work the next morning, so I didn't.
That
But
movie is on my watch list.
yeah. But yeah, sometimes like you go to a movie theater like, wow, like this is disgusting here because I know it's not cleaned well and I'd love to just sit and deep clean the hell out of this, but like just for the sake of, okay, it's clean now. Like it's not 800 people sitting here a day farting and what, like, you know, dropping popcorn. I don't know. But like you go to a movie theater, you're like, this is nice though.
Okay. Nice rant. Thanks for that. I think that will take us out there. I think that's it. I think that's where I call it. I think I
The
say,
end.
yeah, that's enough of you.
That's That's enough of me.
Well, is there
Our friendship is over. New
Yeah.
decade.
Well,
New
is there
decade, new
anything you
friends.
want to add to the end of this decade? Is there anything you want to remember? What is like the big highlight for Maddie this decade? What is it?
It's not necessarily a highlight. It's more of I've realized I want to like do more for like in terms of like saying no and not feeling like, oh, I have to say yes to everybody because
That sounds like a resolution. It sounds
kind
like a
of,
resolution.
and
That's
I hate
okay.
that.
Yeah.
I hate it because resolutions don't stick. But like I'm super antisocial. Like if I'm at home watching a show, I don't want to leave my house. I don't want to put on pants. I don't want to leave. I want to enjoy my show and my snack in bed. Like, let me do that in peace. But I also really want to be around people. So I need to like figure that out better.
You sound like a majority of America, which is a nice thing. You sound like a majority there.
I sound like the majority of everybody. Just
Yeah.
Do I have to put on pants?
Pants not required.
That would be the best place ever. No, actually. That would be terrifying.
Again, reason to get a kilt. That's an inside joke. That's an inside joke right there. I
For the
would like a
wedding?
kilt. I would like a kilt for a wedding. I want to be that crazy
Oofda.
dude. Not helping yourself there, sister.
What?
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. If you made it to the end of this podcast, we really do appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with the show, feel free to contact us like always on the Twitter or Instagram at Ben Griffin Podcast, or feel free to email us at bengriffinpodcast@gmail.com. With all that, Maddie, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for listening to me ramble.
Yeah. It's what are friends for. All right. Bye, everybody.